The local evening news is brought to you by Nagico, local agents Bryson's Insurance.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us for the ABS Evening News on this Monday. A special welcome to those joining us on our various online platforms. My name is Garfield Burford. Now, Prime Minister of the Right Honourable Gaston Brown, he has demanded a tougher response from the security forces to rising gun crimes. Our top story this evening is about a stern message from the head of government as he summoned the top brass of law enforcement and border protection agencies to emergency talks today. He also wants to see tougher sentences for repeat offenders, as our Alicia George now reports.
Prime Minister Gaston Brown held back no criticism this morning at the National Security meeting, where law enforcement officials gathered at the Prime Minister's office. Now, priority on the agenda was not only rehabilitation, but of course how to secure this nation with some major events coming up in the next couple of months. The Prime Minister urged these law enforcement agencies like ONDCP, Customs, Immigration and the police force, as well as even National Solid Waste Department and the prisons, to work together to secure this country.
I don't understand how we're going to allow maybe a few dozen criminals in this country to undermine our development when we have hundreds of police officers.
He wants more foot patrols and routine checks, along with greater use of police vehicles, drones and other surveillance technology. And the government is putting more tools behind that strategy. 250 new cameras have been approved and are already being installed, with the government expecting them to be operational within weeks. Funding for intelligence operations is also being increased to $500,000.
And these hotspot communities, Points Grace Farm, put policemen underground to walk the streets. You cannot effectively police crime in this country by being in your offices. Get them out. Some of them getting fat.
The Prime Minister said the fight must be taken to the criminals.
Put your big guns on the road. They have guns, you go out there with your bigger guns. Intimidate them. Let it go on the ground.
He said criminals should no longer be celebrated in this country as the government takes a hard line against crime. Alicia George for ABS News.
Thanks so much, Alicia. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister also has a no-nonsense message for the head of the Office of National Drug and Money Laundering Control Policy, or the ONDCP. Prime Minister Gaston Brown has warned ONDCP Director Lieutenant Colonel Edward Croft that the agency could be disbanded if it does not improve its intelligence gathering and surveillance operations.
ONDCP in particular, as far as I'm concerned, is becoming an irrelevant institution. And you now need to show your relevance to the people of Antigua and Barbuda government. Your team at ONDCP, they need to step up this idea that they're working half a day. That is totally inappropriate for a law enforcement entity. And I've said to you, Colonel, that if you do not get your act together, I'm going to disband the ONDCP.
The Prime Minister also says the government is willing to provide law enforcement agencies with more resources, but he says those resources must produce results, including better intelligence to support the fight against crime.
You need to get out there, you need to get intelligence. You need to be tracing all of these criminal elements. They're not supposed to live comfortably in this country. They should be under constant surveillance by ONDCP, by the police.
Meanwhile, the head of government says light sentences are making it more difficult for law enforcement to keep the country safe. He's urging the courts to hand down longer sentences for gun crimes, stating that 2 to 3 years is insufficient.
I can say for the executive, we'd rather have 1,000 criminals in jail than have them on the streets. Don't worry about feeding them. We'll find the money to feed them, put them away. I want to say to the judiciary that these sentences may even help to keep some of these criminals alive. So you're not only doing a disservice to the society as a whole, you're doing a disservice to the criminals as well. So you all need to step up.
Well, the maximum prison sentence for serious gun-related crimes was increased to 15 years in September 2024 through the amendment to the Firearms Act. And the Prime Minister promises court sentences will be monitored.
And we want to say that we are interfering in the judiciary? No, we're trying to protect our country. So this particular judge, who has a propensity to give criminals a break, but man, if you can't follow the lead of the parliament to give longer sentences, leave our country voluntarily, otherwise they're going to deport you. make a persona non grata. You know who you are. It's the Prime Minister of the country saying this.
Meanwhile, the head of government is also insisting that law enforcement agencies must have more boots on the ground.
We want more spot checks as well. As far as I'm concerned, there should be weekly spot checks in this country. Not occasional, not anymore. The situation is so grave right now. There should not be a week. A week should not pass without 1 or 2 spot checks. Defense Force, police, get the spot checks going. Nobody must get an easy pass in this country.
And the Prime Minister is also pushing for a more proactive approach from law enforcers.
You should be doing the analysis, the data analysis of these criminals, the concentration of these criminals are, who they are, have a database, monitor their movements. You know, you can't wait until after they would have committed a crime to go after them. You know, for example, the gangs, where they are, go for them.
In other news this evening, 2 teenagers have been remanded to prison on joint charges of shooting with intent to murder following last Thursday's West Bus Station shooting. Here's the latest. They are 19-year-old Kajuni De Freitas of Otters and 18-year-old Royley Richards of Golden Grove. Police allege the 2 attempted to murder Jelani Barzi, Josh Thomas, and DeJounte Meade. They're also charged with using a firearm in furtherance of an offense. The charges stem from the August 6th shooting at West Bus Station, which left all 3 victims with gunshot injuries. 2 remain in hospital in stable condition. De Freitas and Richards appeared before Chief Magistrate Naiwe Emmanuel this morning. Richards was represented by attorney Leon Simister, while De Freitas was represented by attorney Damian Benjamin. The matter returns to the court for a committal case management hearing on the 17th of October. Meanwhile, police are again appealing for information on this or any other firearm-related offense. Individuals can contact the Criminal Investigations Department at 462-3913 or 462-3914. In addition, Crime Stoppers 800-TIPS, that's 800-8477, the nearest police station as well. Meanwhile, police have provided new details this evening on the shooting of Yida Special Economic Zone owner Zhang Yida at Crabs Peninsula yesterday afternoon. Police say the 59-year-old businessman was shot twice in the upper body and remains at Celeste Bird Medical Center in stable condition. Investigators received the report at about 4:15 Sunday afternoon. Officers from Parham Police Station and other departments responded to the Yida Special Economic Zone. The investigation into the circumstances surrounding the shooting is continuing meanwhile. Anyone with information is again being asked to contact the Criminal Investigations Department at 462-3913 or 3914, the Parham Police Station at 463-2060, or Crime Stoppers at 800-TIPS, 800-8477. Well, sections of the country have been abuzz with activity today as Exercise Resilience is being conducted. It is a simulation or a test run for the Commonwealth Business Forum, which will be held this November alongside the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, or CHOGM. Convoys crisscrossed the streets en route to the Coolidge Cricket Grounds, or Sticky Wicket, the location for the Business Forum in November. It is giving organizers an idea of any kinks to be ironed out to ensure a seamless exercise in November. Here's what our Philana Johnson saw on the roads today.
About 700 to 800 delegates are expected to attend the Commonwealth Heads of Governments meeting Business Forum. We joined this planning committee as they conducted Operation Resilience, a simulation exercise expected to test its readiness. But it doesn't quite start right here.
It started in the streets where motorists and pedestrians faced traffic divergence to accommodate the passage of convoys with simulated delegates. These delegates for a day were then verified before going through security procedures. But that looked different depending on whether they were an average delegate, versus a very important person VIP or very, very important person VVIP. The exercise also included a medical emergency which used 2 of the delegates. One with a more severe condition than the other, and the person playing the role of the Prime Minister making an address to the delegates. Emily Weeks, who posed as a delegate for the exercise, says this is important because it allows them to iron out the kinks of the operation. Weeks tells ABS how she felt about the operation before lunch.
So it's been a real team effort, and I think seeing sort of all of those sort of threads come together into something that we can test, it's been really sort of important to see how that's connected and worked well together in order to deliver sort of the end-to-end product that will be CHOGM and the Business Forum. Unlike
Exercise Stronghold in July, Exercise Resilience has been conducted only for a day and entailed no lockdowns. Philana Johnson, ABS News.
Philana, thanks. Meanwhile, Operation Resilience has been hailed a success. Its organizers tell ABS it went according to plan today. They're now awaiting feedback from the security forces to determine what areas in particular need fine-tuning ahead of November. The Commonwealth Business Forum takes place November 2 to 4 at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds. Of course, it is being organized by the Government of Antigua Barbuda, the Commonwealth Secretariat, and the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, or CEWIC. It will have about anywhere between 700 to 800 individuals in this country, including top business moguls from across the Commonwealth and beyond, discussing some of the geopolitical and geoeconomic changes which are roiling businesses around the world and the opportunities that these offer. Businesses in this country will have an opportunity to network and to, of course, look to scale their enterprises to the Commonwealth and beyond. Meanwhile, applications are now open for people across the Commonwealth to attend the 2026 Commonwealth People's Forum in Antigua and Barbuda. The forum will take place in St. John's from November 2 to 4, alongside the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, or CHOGM. Meanwhile, civil society leaders, artists, activists, thinkers, and other voices from across the Commonwealth are being invited to take part in discussions on some of the region's and the world's most pressing issues. These include climate justice, economic inclusion, freedom of expression, the needs of small and vulnerable states, and the leadership of women and young people. Participants will also have an opportunity to contribute ideas with key insights from the forum to be presented to the Commonwealth leaders at CHOGM this November. Organizers say places are limited and submitting an application does not guarantee attendance there as well. We are begging the general public to cooperate with our enumerators. Those are the words this evening from the National Bureau of Statistics, as Antigua Barbuda's population and housing census continues to be hampered by a lukewarm response from the public. The Bureau is now intensifying its efforts to complete the count, with more enumerators being deployed and a major media blitz underway this week. Shanakisha Francis has our update on a process that is crucial to national planning and development.
The census is aimed at establishing an updated picture of Antigua and Barbuda's population, households, and communities. Data officials say is essential for national planning. But Deputy Census Officer Tracelyn Joseph says poor cooperation has slowed the exercise and left some enumerators frustrated.
So we are begging, we're not asking anymore, we are begging the general public to cooperate with our enumerators.
So we are at level begging?
Yes, we're at level begging now. It's a national exercise, but a lot of people still do not want to participate. We don't know why, but it is very rough out there.
Joseph says the information being collected is not simply for statistical purposes. It can help authorities determine where resources are most needed, particularly during emergencies and national disasters.
We're in the hurricane season right now. How do we plan? God forbid we get a disaster. How do we know which community needs more than, we need that data. And if the general public do not partner with us. We cannot execute this alone.
As officials try to accelerate the exercise, a third cohort of about 44 enumerators is being deployed, along with 9 blitz teams targeting several enumeration districts at once. The new push also includes a week-long media campaign across radio, television, and social media. Officials are at the same time reassuring residents about security and how to identify legitimate census workers.
When an enumerator comes to your household, you must present your ID and you must have on a census vest. If they don't have those two, you do not answer any questions. You can always call the census office at 562-7495 for more information.
The Census Office is also continuing its recruitment drive while public service announcements, billboards, loudspeakers, Facebook, and WhatsApp are being used to encourage participation. Shanakisha Francis, ABS News.
Shanakisha, thanks. Meanwhile, join us this evening at 8, immediately following the evening news, on all our platforms for the first in a weekly series of programs called The Census and You. Then this is your opportunity to have your questions and concerns addressed regarding the ongoing population and housing census. You can call in directly to the program and speak with census officials who will be joining us in studio as well. The number to call later, 462-2996. So any questions and comments or concerns you have about the census, you can call and get those addressed directly by census officials. Now, the Development Control Authority, the DCA, is sending another reminder this evening that all beaches must remain open with public access. The notice follows several social media posts made in recent days suggesting beach access in some locations had become privatized, with public access becoming barred. Well, the DCA is reminding Antiguans and Barbudans that public access to the nation's beaches is enshrined in law. Section 50 of the Physical Planning Act says there should be at least one public landward access to the nation's beaches. The DCA says if you notice any restrictions, you're being asked to contact their office at 468-5517. Again, 468-5517. Well, 4 people, including a young child, have been rushed to hospital after a vehicle crash on the Anchorage Road this afternoon. ABS understands the accident occurred about or shortly before 3 p.m. Fire officers were quick to respond, sending 2 fire tenders after receiving reports suggesting there was smoke rising from one of the vehicles involved. ABS was informed by a relative of one of the vehicle's occupants that the smoke was due to the airbags being deployed. Their injuries, thankfully, do not appear to be life-threatening. Health officials are continuing to turn the spotlight on the benefits of breastfeeding. The Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, says the practice has far-reaching benefits for the baby, the mother, and society on a whole. The message came in the wake of the recently concluded World Breastfeeding Week, as our Ursula Charles Jr. now reports.
The World Health Organization, WHO, wants to see at least 60% of all babies 5 months and younger being exclusively breastfed by 2030. Dr. Audrey Morris, who advises the Pan American Health Organization's Food and Nutrition Unit, says breastfeeding is paramount to a child's health and development.
It protects infants from diarrheal disease, respiratory infection, and life-threatening illnesses. Breastfeeding supports growth, cognitive development, and the risk of overweight, obesity, and diabetes.
But it's not only about intervention for child survival. Breastfeeding babies also benefits the mother.
It benefits mothers also by reducing the risk of type 2 diabetes and breast or ovarian cancer.
The thrust to support breastfeeding is a major feature of achieving several of the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. Those goals focus on bettering overall human development.
It contributes to the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, for health, but also for nutrition, education, gender equality, decent work, and sustainable consumption.
PAHO also insists paid maternity leave improves the chances for mothers to breastfeed, and that protection should extend to those mothers who work in informal sectors. By offering these protections, employers will benefit from retention, productivity, and overall better morale among childbearing female employees. For ABS News, I'm Ursula Charles Jr.
Ursula, thanks. Of course, more stories coming up right after this short break here on the ABS Evening News. We do appreciate your company, whether you're joining us on air or online. A quick reminder to join us at 8 this evening for the Census and You. It will be coming up for the next few weeks, the first in a series of programs over the next few weeks, every Monday night here on ABS. And it's focusing on the ongoing population and housing census. Officials from the Census Office will be joining us to talk about the challenges that they're having and to answer the questions and any concerns from the public as well. Join us this evening at 8 for that. Up next, more of the stories, as we said, that we're tracking, including this one. The Halo Foundation makes a $10,000 donation towards a young man's goal of attending a global business school. We'll have the latest coming up and tell you about the reactions to this act of altruism. And later in sports, Antigua Barbuda Falcons lose to St. Lucia Kings by 4 runs. In the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League in St. Vincent, it went all the way to the wire. It was a cliffhanger, a thriller in Arnesville. We'll keep you across that in sports later. But first, the break ahead of more national news. Do stay with us, please.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like knowing you're covered when your house gets flooded, getting your settlements quickly and fairly when a fire hits your home, and making sure your business can keep going even after an accident happens on site. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
Stop, think, verify. Scammers can sound convincing. Before sharing any info, call us directly using our official contact numbers. We'll never request your password or PIN over the phone or via email.
Being healthy isn't just about what happens when you get sick. It's also about what you do every day to stay healthy. The Honorable Michael Joseph is responsible for the Ministry of Wellness. So what does that mean? This ministry helps encourage healthy eating, exercise, mental wellness, and positive lifestyle choices. Their goal is to help people live healthier, happier lives before health problems even begin.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. You are in tune with the ABS Evening News on air and online. More national news now, and the story of altruism that we told you about. The Halo Foundation recently awarded Amisha Nibbs $10,000 to ensure he fulfills his goal of attending GBSB Global Business School. Here's the latest on this, because Nibbs, who also plays football in the Premier League, was accepted into the European University and expected assistance from a local institution. Now, when that fell through, Halo stepped in to provide financial assistance for his first year of study. Founder and president of the foundation, Her Excellency Lady Williams, says though the organization cannot answer every call for assistance, education is of extreme importance, and Halo was pleased to help in this instance. All the best to him indeed. Now, the National Youth Week, the Department of Youth Affairs is shedding a spotlight on 6 young people as the National Youth Week continues. Of course, as we told you last night, it was launched with a church service yesterday in St. John's. Now, these young people are Janae Laurent, as well as Delron Frederick, Suzetta Hamilton, Shavani Stewart, Christine Louisa, and her group, Hopeful Hearts Foundation Youth Group, and Makiba Olivier Ward. The 6 individuals are engaged in youth work across a number of areas, including education, sports, and the arts, and have been giving back to the community in a variety of ways, ensuring that their peers and the younger generation can be active in positive activities. Of course, much more coverage of National Youth Week activities for all of this week. De Beer is planning a return to Calypso in Antigua Barbuda. The newly crowned Leeward Islands Calypso monarch, in an earlier interview with ABS, says his return to the local stage is now under consideration. Take a listen.
I'm present in Montserrat now as the monarch. I don't plan to go back. In my mind, I'm not planning to go back and defend. If I stop singing there, my daughter is coming. She's 13. She's the junior Calypso monarch right now and soca monarch. Then I could, have a word with the commission and see if it's eligible for me to come back into the competition here.
He says the aim will no longer be simply to win, but to develop the art form. He says he's willing to discuss how he and the Antigua Barbuda Festivals Commission can make that happen.
Like I said, I've passed the stage of trying to win or trying to beat somebody. For me, it's to improve what I'm doing and to get the public involved again.
Development,
Get the whole Calypso interested again. And whatever it takes to make it happen, the commission can have a word with me and we could get it going.
Well, he made those comments on the night of Antigua's Calypso Monarch competition, won by King Young Destroyer, who subsequently placed third in the regional competition. Well, that's where we take us out of a look at national developments. Up next, a look at the weather report and forecast. If you love rain in the nights while you're sleeping, you might have very good news this evening, because Bernal Simon joins us with those details. Good evening to you, Bernal. Over to you.
Good evening, Garfield. And yes, indeed, as a tropical wave moves into the area, we do anticipate some shower activity and possibly an isolated thunderstorm here and there across the island overnight into tomorrow morning as that wave moves across the area. Also, we will take a look at the Eastern Atlantic as the activity starts to pick up. As now we're in the month of August, the activity in the Atlantic start to pick up somewhat. We see some systems moving across the area, and more details on these systems after this short break.
The weather report is brought to you by Leeward Islands Hurricane Protection.
When the skies are clear and the winds are calm, we often forget how unpredictable Mother Nature can be. But when a hurricane strikes, it's the strength of your home that matters most. Whether you are preparing for your first storm or looking to upgrade your current protection, Leeward Islands Hurricane Protection has got you covered. Our expert team handles everything from custom design to professional installation, ensuring your home is as strong as it is beautiful. Call today for a free consultation. Leeward Islands Hurricane Protection, built strong to weather any storm.
Welcome back, and as we dive right into our satellite picture for this evening, we see this massive cloud just to the east of the islands, approaching the islands, associated with a tropical wave that is expected to move across the area overnight into tomorrow morning, causing an increase in cloudiness with a high chance of showers and possibly one or two isolated thunderstorms developing as this system moves across the Leeward Islands and most of the Eastern Caribbean overnight into tomorrow morning. Thereafter, by tomorrow afternoon, dry weather conditions will once again move in as this high-pressure system just to the east of the tropical wave moves into the area, and a dry and stable air mass will sit across the area thereafter for the next 2 to 3 days. Out in the Eastern Atlantic, we're looking at another tropical wave approaching the area. However, the system only has a 10% chance of development as the hostile environment that is expected to encounter as it approaches the Lesser Antilles. This will cause the system not to develop any further as it moves in the area, to come through as a tropical wave. However, we're keeping an eye on this system further to the east that has a 60% chance of development in the next 7 days. Now, early model projections has a system passing just to the north of the area, but as I said, these early model projections are subject to change as it approaches the central and eastern tropical Atlantic. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that system as it moves westward towards the Eastern Caribbean. So forecast conditions for tomorrow, Tuesday, as a tropical wave moves to the Leeward Islands, we can expect an increase in cloudiness with a high chance of showers and the possibility of one or two isolated thunderstorms developing across the Leeward Islands and portions of the British Virgin Islands as well. On the outside, currently partly cloudy conditions, current temperature of 27 degrees Celsius or 81 degrees Fahrenheit as winds come from the east at about 10 miles per hour. Overnight across Antigua and Barbuda, we can expect an increase in cloudiness with a high chance of showers and possible isolated thunderstorms developing. Minimum could get as low as 24 degrees Celsius or 75 degrees Fahrenheit as winds come from the east at about 6 to 14 miles per hour. Tomorrow across Antigua and Barbuda, we can expect partly cloudy conditions initially with a 60% or moderate chance of some brief morning showers as a tropical wave continues to move through the area and exit the area by tomorrow afternoon, where dry conditions are expected to move across the island. Maximum temperature of 32 degrees Celsius or 90 degrees Fahrenheit, as winds come from the east at about 7 to 18 miles per hour. Our sunrise time will be 5:49 a.m. and the sun will set at 6:35 p.m. Looking at marine conditions, seas are pretty good at this time actually, waves reaching as high as 3 to 5 feet or 1 to 1.5 meters, making sea conditions very safe for both small craft operators and also for beach goers. In our extended weather forecast for this evening, well, as mentioned, tomorrow, high chance of showers mainly in the morning as a tropical wave moves across the area. Thereafter, generally dry and stable conditions, only a slight chance of showers Wednesday and Thursday, and a moderate chance of a brief passing shower on Friday. Winds coming from the east at 7 to 18 miles per hour Tuesday and Wednesday, increasing to 12 to 21 miles per hour Friday and Saturday. In response to that increased winds, seas will get as high as 6 to 8 feet on Thursday and Friday, where for the time being over the next 24 to 48 hours, seas are 3 to 5 feet or 1 to 1.5 meters. And here ends our weather package for this evening. We go back to Garfield for the continuation of tonight's news.
Bernard, thank you so much. So I'm pretty sure that was music to the ears of a lot of individuals who certainly want rain generally and perhaps love it in the nights when they're about to go to sleep. So fantastic. Some of these showers will be heavy at times,
Yes, I guess at times. And I will go as far to say, even for those individuals that are not really interested in rain, would definitely like to have some rain at this time because it has been bone dry for so long. We certainly do need the showers.
Indeed, a respite from the from the very dry conditions is welcome. And those systems or those areas of tropical disturbance in the eastern Atlantic, any cause for concern at this point?
Not exactly at this time. The one furthest to the east that I spoke of, that could be a tropical depression based on the early model projections when it gets close enough to our area. But it's still yet to see which direction it will take, because when you have that cone of uncertainty, it could sway to the south or to the north. So it all depends on where the eventual projected path ends up. But we definitely will keep an eye on that. The system closest to us is expected to just come through as a tropical wave and remain quite a bit to the south of us. But hopefully, portions of the northern part of the system swings across us and bring even more showers during the midweek or so. So we are indeed looking forward to that.
Yes, indeed. Of course, whatever brings those showers, we look forward to it, especially in a very, very dry time with a raining drought. And it's a reminder, I suppose, Bernal, that we're still in the Atlantic hurricane season. Even though it has been quiet so far, generally, certainly for us here in this region, it's a reminder that we have to keep on our guard always.
Especially now in August, heading into September. This is crunch time for us now, so please be very vigilant in the coming weeks and months.
Absolutely. Bernal, thank you so much as ever. Really appreciate it. Bernal Simon and his colleagues always ensure that we are the place for timely, incredible updates on your forecast, whatever the vicissitudes of the weather, and of course, especially as we are continuing in the 2026 Atlantic hurricane season. Up next, we'll take you to a look at news.